Look at this city. Look at these thousands of windows. In 90% of them, the same thing is happening. War. A quiet, undeclared war for the most valuable resource of the 21st century. Not for time, for attention. Your mind is a battlefield. Your notifications are volleys of arrows. Endless tasks are the cries of attacking soldiers. And in this chaos, you try to build your empire, your business, your career, your best self. Remember his biggest defeat? At the village's annual tournament, Akira was more confident than ever. His opponent was the son of a local merchant, a boy not particularly interested in martial arts. Everyone, onlookers, including the girl Akira liked, were confident of his victory. The fight began, and 30 seconds later, Akira lay in the dust, knocked down by a single precise blow. He hadn't simply lost, he had been destroyed, not physically but mentally. His entire world had collapsed. Years of training had been for naught. This is what was going on in Akira's head during that fateful duel. He didn't see his opponent, he saw the spectators. He heard their whispers. He thought about what his victory would look like, how he would celebrate. He worried about his flimsy stance, about whether he was holding his sword correctly, recalling dozens of techniques he was trying to apply simultaneously. His mind was like a tangled ball of thread. He tried to do everything, and in the end, he accomplished nothing. Sitting in the dust, his cheeks burning with shame, Akira didn't notice an old man approaching him. Not just any old man, but a man with a gaze that pierced right through him. His face was covered in scars, a living map of past battles. The two swords at his waist spoke for themselves. He was a ronin, a wandering samurai, a true master. "Young man," the old man said, his voice quiet but so weighty that it drowned out all the noise in the square. "Let me see your sword." Akira, unable to withstand his gaze, silently held out his only treasure. The master took the sword, twirled it in his hands and threw it to the ground. Akira jumped in surprise. "Why did you throw away my sword?" he breathed. "I didn't throw down my sword," the master replied. "I threw down my vanity. You don't hold the sword, you hold your pride. You don't fight the enemy, you fight the ghosts in your head. Glory, fear, and expectations. You try to water 100 fields, one drop at a time, and wonder why all your crops are dying. A true warrior chooses one field and waters it until it turns into a blooming garden. He strikes one blow, just one, but this blow decides the outcome of the battle. Do you understand? Multiplicity is for amateurs, dilettantes, and eternal students. Singularity is the path of the master. One shot, one target, one life. At that moment, something clicked in Akira's mind. Years of useless training, tons of manuscripts read, hundreds of memorized techniques, all of it turned to dust. He'd spent years becoming a living encyclopedia of martial arts, but he still hadn't learned the most important thing: to be a warrior. And you lose. Not because you're weak, but because you're fighting wrong. You try to parry 1,000 small blows, and by the end of the day, you don't have the strength left for that one decisive blow, that one breakthrough that will change everything. How do I find this way?" Akira asked, his voice shaking. The old man smiled for the first time. "The path has already been found. It was laid out long before us. It is called Ichigeki. One blow, one life. But I warn you, this path will demand of you what you fear most. It will demand your humility." It was then, sitting in the dust of the square, defeated and humiliated, that Akira first heard the word that would change his life: Ichigeki. Akira's story isn't just a samurai tale. It's a faithful replica of each of our lives. We are Akira on that square. Our world is that tournament. We read dozens of self-help books, buy time management courses, download productivity apps. We become walking encyclopedias of efficiency. But when it comes down to it, that very sparring match, starting a business, writing a book, delivering an important project, we lose. Our minds, clogged with theory and fear, paralyze us. We know everything, but can do nothing. The master explained that Ichigeki is not a technique, it is a path, and it consists of 3 laws carved in stone. You cannot skip any of them. You cannot change their order. It is the alchemy of transforming chaos into order. First law, SYU, still heart, hieroglyph for submission. This is the death of internal dialogue. This is the foundation on which everything stands. Without it, any tower of your ambitions will collapse at the first wind of distraction. The second law, HA, edge of will, hieroglyph breakthrough. This is the ability to direct all the accumulated energy of immobility into a single point, like a sunbeam focused by a lens, burning through steel. The third law, RI, action without an actor, the hieroglyph for separation. This is magic. The I who does disappears. What remains is pure, impersonal, ideal action, born of the situation itself. Remember this sequence. SHU, Tritha, Tritri. This is your route on the map from the realm of distraction to the realm of absolute focus. Most people try to start with Ha, or even Ri, and doom themselves to eternal mediocrity. Now you'll understand why. This three-stage system isn't just a philosophical concept. It's a precise description of how the brain learns and automates complex skills. First, conscious effort and repetition, Zu. Then, understanding principles and adaptation, Ha. And finally, complete automation and creativity, Rai. This is the path from conscious incompetence to unconscious competence. But what if I told you that 400 years ago, a formula for absolute concentration was discovered, a system that transforms mental chaos into silent, deadly clarity? It was guarded by Japanese swordsmen. They called it Ichigeki, one strike, one life. Let's return to Akira. The next morning he returned to the same place where he had suffered defeat. The master was already waiting for him. From today on, the master said, you forget about the sword, forget about jewels, forget about glory. Your weapon now is your posture. Your battle is with your own mind. Thus began Akira's Shu stage, the most humiliating, the most boring. The master made him sit for hours in zazen, motionless. When you sit, you just sit, the master said. You don't try to meditate. You don't fight thoughts. You simply let them come and go, like clouds in the sky. Your job is to be the motionless mountain on which these clouds float. For Akira, accustomed to action, this was torture. His mind, that mental monkey, screamed that this was a waste of time. Master, he cried one day, I could be practicing real punches at this time. I'm wasting my time. The master's answer was cold water. Akira-san, you want to draw the bowstring when you yourself are shattered into pieces. First, gather yourself together. Become whole. A solid diamond solves glass. Right now you are just a handful of dust. You can spend another 10 years swinging the sword and remain dust, or you can spend a year becoming a diamond. The choice is yours. And Akira resigned himself. Days turned into weeks. He sat, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for 2. At first his legs would go numb, his back would ache, and his mind would feel like an enraged monkey in a cage. Then, miracles began. The noise in his head began to subside. Thoughts that had once rushed like a hurricane now flowed slowly, like thick honey. He began to notice things he had previously ignored. Birdsong, rustling leaves, the rhythm of his own breathing. He wasn't becoming empty, he was becoming whole. Science confirms. Research from Harvard neuroscientists shows that mindfulness practice, a direct analog of shoes, literally changes the structure of the brain. It thickens the gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-control, and weakens connectivity in the amygdala, our fear and panic center. You literally build a brain capable of focus. But let's go deeper. Why precisely stillness and observing the breath? The fact is that breathing is a unique process. It occurs both automatically and voluntarily. By observing it, you establish a bridge between the conscious and unconscious minds. You learn to be an observer, not a participant in the mental chaos. The practice of Shu isn't just seated meditation. It's any activity where you train yourself to be fully present. It could be washing dishes, where you focus on the sensation of the warm water and the foam. It could be a walk, where you notice every step, every sound, every smell. Shu is training the muscle of attention. Your first task on the Ichigeki path, direct conversation with the viewer. Right now, while you're listening to this video, your monkey has already started whining. It's saying, oh, meditation, it's boring, I can't do it, I'm not that kind of person. That's its voice. Your task is to spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening practicing Shu over the next 7 days. Simply sit in silence. Follow your breathing. When you catch yourself thinking, gently return to your breathing. Without judgment, you're not meditating, you're becoming the mountain. This is the foundation of everything, and today, she becomes your weapon. But I'll go further. I'll give you a specific technique used by the samurai. It's called breath counting. Sit with your back straight. As you inhale, mentally count 1. As you exhale, 2. On the next inhale, 3. And so on up to 10. Then start again. If you lose track, which is inevitable in the first few days, Simply start over from 1. This simple practice will teach your mind discipline better than any theory. 3 months passed. One morning, sitting in his usual position, Akira suddenly realized that an unusual silence reigned within him. Not emptiness, but a clear, profound silence, like the center of a lake on a windless day. He didn't even notice how it happened. It was like a miracle. That same day, the master brought him a wooden sword for the first time in a long time. Time for the next step, he said. Akira's heart began to beat faster. Finally, but he was disappointed. The master didn't teach him complex combinations. He assumed a basic stance and demonstrated a single strike, Shumen Uchi, a vertical downward strike. Here is your task for the next month, said the master. You will deliver this blow 10,000 times. Not faster, not slower, not stronger, not weaker, identical. You will deliver it until it ceases to be a technique and you become it. Akira was perplexed. 1 blow, 10,000 times? That was madness, but he had already learned to trust the master. The first few days were hell. His arm was going numb. His strikes were crooked and awkward. He counted the repetitions, eagerly awaiting the moment when he would reach 10,000. But then, around the 500th strike, something happened to him. He stopped counting. He stopped thinking about whether he was doing it right. He just chopped. His world narrowed to the blade of the sword and the imaginary line he had to draw in the air. He began to feel the sword as an extension of his arm. He felt the tension building in his feet, moving through his hips, his back, and pouring out into the tip of the sword. He began to hear the blade slice through the air. He was no longer doing the strike. He was being the strike. It was a breakthrough. He learned not just to be still, but to direct all his still power into a single point. His focus became the blade of a katana. What was actually happening in Akira's brain at that moment? Neuroplasticity. Each repetition strengthened the neural connections responsible for that specific motor pattern. The brain began to optimize the movement, making it increasingly efficient and economical. This is a principle known in neuroscience as neuroefficiency. The brain always strives to expend less energy on frequently repeated tasks. Your second task, forming a habit. Do you know what geniuses like Elon Musk, Serena Williams and Leonardo da Vinci have in common? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's the ability to enter a state of deep, almost trance-like focus. Modern neuroscience calls this the flow state. Samurai called it Ichigeki. And now you'll learn how this system can not only increase your productivity, but literally rewire your brain. Starting tomorrow, you enter the Ha stage. Choose 1, the most important task for the day. Not 3, not 5. 1, the one whose completion will yield 80% of your results. Allocate a 90-minute shock block to it. During this time, put your phone in airplane mode, close all unnecessary tabs, and put on ear-muffling headphones. You are not working on the task. You are striking Shumen Uchi. Your task is this point. Everything else is nonsense. Here's an advanced technique from the Ha stage. It's called the Rule of 3. At the beginning of each week, you identify the 3 most important tasks for the entire week. Every morning, identify the 3 most important tasks for the day. This creates incredible clarity and prevents you from spreading yourself too thin. You always know where to focus your willpower. A year passed. Akira was unrecognizable. His movements were refined, his gaze calm and clear. He mastered a single blow as others couldn't master 100 techniques, but the master had prepared a final, most difficult test for him. He led Akira to a large field where another samurai was already waiting for them. Tall, muscular, with an emotionless face. He was a renowned fighter, renowned for his brutality and strength. "This is your final test," said the master. "Defeat him." Akira's heart sank. This warrior was much bigger and stronger than him. Old fears welled up from the depths of his mind. But then Akira remembered the mountain, the still lake of his mind. He took a deep breath and took a stance. The enemy attacked first. His strike was lightning fast. And then something happened to Akira that he couldn't explain. He didn't think. He didn't analyze. He didn't recall the technique. His body reacted on its own. A slight movement to the side, a barely perceptible tilt, and one precise strike. Just one. The powerful samurai collapsed to the ground before he could even comprehend what had happened. The fight lasted 2 seconds. Akira stood there, feeling neither triumph nor joy, only silence, deep, absolute silence. He couldn't remember what exactly he had done. It was as if someone else was using his body. The master approached. "What did you feel?" he asked. "Right now, as you listen to this voice, your brain is processing about 11 million bits of information per second, but your consciousness only registers about 50 bits. Where do the rest go? They create background noise, that mental chaos that prevents you from concentrating. Ichigeki is a system that teaches you to direct those 50 bits with the power of a laser." Akira was silent. There were no words. "Congratulations," the master smiled. "You've achieved Ri. You've stopped using the technique. The technique has begun to use you. You and the blow have become one. This is Ichigeki in its perfect form. The physiology of mastery. fMRI studies show that when beginners perform a complex task, the prefrontal cortex, the center of conscious control, lights up. In masters in a state of flow, F, on the contrary, it quiets down. Activity shifts to the cerebellum and basal ganglia, areas responsible for automated skills. You literally switch off, interfering consciousness, and act on pure intuition. The flow state, studied by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, is not a metaphor. It's a specific neurobiological state characterized by complete immersion in an activity, a sense of energy, total engagement, and a loss of time. In this state, a person exhibits peak productivity and creativity. Your path to Ri, creating perspective. Ri cannot be achieved by wishing. It is a grace that descends upon those who have passed through Zhu and Ha. Your task is to practice the first two stages with such consistency that one day, while solving a complex problem or creating something, you suddenly realize that you don't think, but simply know, and your hand, or your code, or your strategy will be born of their own accord. This will be your first glimpse of Ri, and after this taste, you will never be able to return to your old, distracted life. To speed up the arrival of Ri, use the preliminary intention technique. Before beginning a difficult task, clearly state, "I will now enter a state of deep focus. All distractions will be ignored. My mind will be clear, and my actions will be precise." This simple ritualistic action programs your brain to work in a state of flow. Now stop. Let's get this straight. Why, knowing all this, are you most likely not implementing the Ichigeki system? Because your main enemy is inside you, your ego. It will whisper toxic thoughts to you. "This is too simple. I'm looking for some kind of hack, a secret pill." And now, a story that will change your understanding of concentration. Edo period, Japan. In a small village lived a young man named Akira. From childhood, he burned with one dream: to become the greatest samurai. He was not from a noble family, not from a family of warriors. He was the son of a simple fisherman, but a fire burned in his chest that neither the ridicule of his neighbors nor the doubts of his family could extinguish. "I am a creative person. I need chaos for inspiration. I don't have time for this meditation. I have urgent matters." Know this. This is the voice of weakness. This is the voice of that very Akira who lost all his battles. The modern world has created a cult of multitasking because the absent-minded consumer is the ideal consumer. They buy courses they don't take, books they don't read, and gadgets that steal their time. The choice is yours. Remain a convenient consumer in the system, or become a modern samurai who controls his attention and therefore his destiny. Psychologists call this resistance. When we approach the threshold of real change, our psyche activates defense mechanisms. It sabotages our efforts because change means stepping outside our comfort zone. Recognizing this is 50% of the success. When you catch yourself thinking, "This won't work," simply say, "Hello, resistance. I've been waiting for you," and keep going. Theory without action is dead. Here's your step-by-step 21-day plan. Print it out. Make it your phone cover photo. Week 1. Laying the foundation. LFF. *. Morning. 10 minutes of still sitting. Timer. No goal to clear your mind. Your goal is to simply sit and observe. Work. The Pomodoro method. 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest. Inside the Pomodoro, there are no distractions. You are a mountain. Evening. 10 minutes to analyze the day. When did you break down? What distracted you? No self-flagellation, just data collection. Akira was obsessed. While other boys his age were helping with chores or spending time in taverns, Akira trained. He took out an old rusty sword and practiced his blows from dawn to dusk. He snuck into the local martial arts academy and spied on his teacher's training, memorizing his moves. He was convinced that persistence and enthusiasm were enough. Week 2. Formation of the spearhead. HA. Morning. 15 minutes of sitting. Work. Identify a single task of the day. TD. Complete it in one 90-minute block in the morning. Evening, 10 minutes for reflection. What was more difficult, sitting still or focusing on one task? Week 3, integration and breakthrough. I and B. Morning, 15 to 20 minutes of sitting. Work. Continue your EZD practice. Add a second 90-minute block for other tasks, but keep the one task, one block principle. Evening. Ask yourself, was there a moment of flow today when I forgot about time? These are the sprouts of Re. This plan is your katana. Train with it every day. But that's not all. For true transformation, you need an environment. Surround yourself with reminders. Set a screensaver with the character Ichigeki on your desktop. Buy yourself a small Japanese bell and ring it when you begin and end deep work. Create rituals. The brain loves rituals. They signal it to enter a special state. A year passed. 2. Akira could spend hours talking about various schools of fencing, the strategies of great commanders, the intricacies of the samurai code of Bushido. Theoretically, he knew it all, but in practice, every time it came to sparring, a humiliating defeat awaited him. If you've made it this far, you're not a casual observer. You're one of the few willing to pay the price of mastery, the price of boring repetition, the price of waging war on your own ego. And I want us to walk this path together. This channel is more than just a collection of videos. It's our dojo, a place where we train, share victories, and support each other. So my call to you today is twofold. First, write just one phrase in the comments. My only task for tomorrow is, and expand on it. Make this intention public. Give your new community a voice. I will personally read every comment and answer the most interesting questions. Second, subscribe and ring the bell, because next week we'll be exploring an equally powerful system, Spartan Shield, how to build an impenetrable mind in 30 days. This will be a direct continuation of our journey. We'll be talking about how to stay calm and clear under pressure, how to develop a stoic attitude toward failure, and how to turn stress into fuel for growth. Your transformation has already begun. Starting tomorrow, you'll wake up a different person, a person with a system, a person who knows the way, with a modern samurai. Remember, a master is not someone who never falls. A master is someone who gets up more times than he falls. Your path to Ichigeki will be full of ups and downs. You will slip up. You will forget about practice. You will feel frustrated. That's normal. It's part of the process. The key is to keep coming back, again and again. Now go and strike your first blow.